The One Piece Football League. This league takes heroes and villains of the One Piece franchise and turns them into sports franchises. 4 teams down, 4 teams left, and a championship. Well, technically 3 teams because I already revealed the East Blue Strawhats to you, but I actually made a few adjustments on that front and added a monogram. Obviously, this would be the team that is led by Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy was born on Dawn Island in the East Blue. Monkey D. Luffy absolutely had to serve as the mascot for the East Blue Straw Hat, so I illustrated him with his iconic hat and crossbones in the background. But for the monogram, I took the E and the B, added a dynamic stroke there that kind of added a background to it. It kind of made it kind of three-dimensional, flat three-dimensional, and then I put the straw hat in between the E and the B, and I fused the E and the B together. Now, the next team is inspired by the man that inspired Luffy himself, Red Hair Shanks. Red Hair Shanks, commonly known as just Red Hair, is the chief of the Red Hair Pirates and is one of the 4 emperors that rule the New World. 12 years ago, while operating in the East Blue, Shanks inspired a young village boy, Monkey D. Luffy, to go on his own pirate journey, thus being responsible for the boy becoming the notorious outlaw he is today. Now, with the red hairs, I went pretty obviously just made a illustration of Shanks, like a simplified illustration of Shanks with the West Blue red hairs, because that's his point of origin. So I have his head serving as the mascot logo. And then with the monogram, I just took the W for West and then cut out pieces of it to kind of mimic hair, like the hair follicles kind of in the middle of the W. And then I also used the hair motif to kind of get a more dynamic ribbon that is underneath the W, and I have red hairs written out on the ribbon, and then I just combined the main logo with the typeface and then put those things together. Now, before we set sail on this next team, make sure you are subscribed, you like the video, and you share it. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos. Now, this next team got heart.
Miles and miles of heart.
The North Blue Heart Pirates, led by my boy Law. He is one of the 12 pirates who are referred to as the worst generation. Now, with the Heart Pirates, I was led by just the visuals that are inspired by the name. So H, but then also making the H out of bones, which are a common motif that you see in Jolly Rogers, with the heart there. And during the process, I actually allowed the heart to play a role in the construction of the bones themselves. And then I kept the bone motif going in the monogram, doing the N and the B and having all of that made through bones, and then having the B interlocking with the N. Now, the 8th and final team in this One Piece Football League is the Revolutionary Army. Known as the Rebellious Dragon, he is the infamous Supreme Commander of the Revolutionary Army and one of its founding members. The Revolutionary Army's primary objective is to fight against the world government's rule over the world by defying political oppression and corruption. Now, with the Revolutionary Army, I actually took inspiration from their former name, which is the Freedom Fighters, and they used a sword going through a crown. So I actually used that. So I used red, white, and blue. The Revolutionary Army has the crown with the 2 swords going through it, with the star being in between. And I have the monogram where I have the sword kind of sticking up in the A, and then I have the star that you see in the main logo represented inside of the R. So I have the Revolutionary Army referencing their freedom fighter past and mission, with the crown, with the swords going through the crown, kind of representing how they're fighting against the powers that be in the world. Now, when we get down to the championship, where the 2 best teams go at it, I thought to myself, what would I name this? You know, the NFL has the Super Bowl. What would I do? And of course, Grand Line, the Grand Bowl Classic. I'm from an HBCU, so throwing classic into things. It just feels right. Eight teams, one championship, one league. Let me know in the comment section down below what team should be added. And also check out my other One Piece content right over here.